Hello and welcome to 5-Minute Math. Today we are looking at the Algebra 1 concept of writing linear equations. This is standard A.2C in the great state of Texas, and we are using item number 13 off the Redesign Practice Online STAAR Test. If you haven't done so already, please go ahead and take a moment to pause the video, work this problem out on your own, unpause it, and we will look at our answers together. So we have a graph of a linear function, and we need to find which equation here best represents that, and they don't give us any points. So we're going to have to visually take a look and see what we can find here. So we're going to open up our graph draw feature, increase the transparency so it's not really hiding anything, but we can draw on it. And what do we notice about this graph? Well, first off, we should notice that we have a few points given to us here. They're not necessarily called out, but your eyes should always be looking towards the y-axis. Do you have a y-intercept? And we actually do have a y-intercept right there. So I've got that point right there where my x is 0 and my y is 2. Going to be very helpful because when we're looking down here at our answer selections, if we know our y-intercept is 2, we can eliminate answer choice A and C because those have -4. That -4 is important, but that's actually the x-intercept because that's where the line goes through the x line. So the name of the intercept, right, is what gives you the name of the axis that it goes through. So we've got 2 points right there that we can use, and quite honestly, that's all we need. But we do have, a point right there at -2, 1. We've got a point here at 2, 3. We've got a point here at 4, 4. When we're looking at these points where they're crossing the intersections of the x and the y-axis, you should notice a pattern. Okay, we're going up 1 and over 2, which should obviously give us the slope. Now we'll go ahead and calculate that. But remember, our slope is our change in y over our change in x. And so we are going to just pick 2 points here. I'll go ahead and use the 2 that I've given, but any of the ones that I've hit, even that one right there at 6, 5, that would work. Or there's one here at -6, -1. So you know what, let's use those two extremes just to show you that it doesn't really matter. So that's 6, 5, and this is going to be -6, -1. I'm going to make this my x1 and my y1, and I'll make that my x2 and my y2. So when I'm doing my change in y, it's y2 minus y1, so that's 5 minus, and then -1. That'll end up being a positive. x2 is 6 minus -6. That will also end up being a positive. So this ends up being 5 plus 1, right? So that's going to equal 6 over, that's a 6 plus 6, 12, and look at that. It does come down to that same slope of 1/2. Now, we could have calculated that without even necessarily using any equations because we have a good graph, we have a good set of points. Remember, it's rise over run. So the rise is the change in y. And if you're going from, you always go from left to right. So go in the direction that you read. And you see between point to point, you notice that it's going to go up 1, right? So it's going to be a +1 because it goes from 2 to 3. And then the run is the side to side, and it's going to the right, which means that's also positive. So that's your 1/2, which we calculated. Now we also need to put this into our slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. And so y equals, we know our m is 1/2. Sometimes they don't give you the y-intercept, so you need to calculate it using the point slope form. This is on your reference materials. But you know what, they give us right there. That's our y-intercept. It crosses there at 2. So we're just going to go ahead and visually see that it's y equals 1/2 x plus 2. Which means our answer here is going to be D.